kind we know as God. And with our spiritual presence and our participation in our service this morning, we create a higher state of consciousness, rise above any negative energy that has prevailed in this past week, and manifest love. We know love is synonymous to God, the most powerful yet most gentle force in the universe. Our Reverend Dr. Sandra Jackson has been keeping us informed throughout the past week and will now proceed with our service. Reverend?
Okay. Good morning, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome once again. Let's begin by centering ourselves in this present moment, allowing our bodies and minds to come to a place of peace, of inner peace, and just simply allowing this moment to be and to be present in it. Letting go of all that has gone before, all that is to come, and allowing ourselves to be in this moment. And as you do, just breathe and notice your breath. Breathe in and breathe out. And with every exhalation, relax a little bit more into this moment. And as we breathe in this moment, we know that we do not give ourselves life. We do not originate it. We do not sustain it. We are given that life. We are given the breath. And so right here and right now, we recognize, realize, and know that the breath that we get, that the life that we live is the life of spirit, of God moving in us and through us and as us. It is that life that enlivens us. It is that life from which all of life comes. It is that one life in which we each and every one are connected. And as we open our eyes and look around and see separation, and it is in this time, in this place, in this knowingness, in this moment that we realize that the separation is only an illusion. It is an appearance. It is not the truth of who and what we are. We are all one. We are one in spirit. We are one in life. Each breath that we breathe, regardless of where we are, regardless of what our circumstances or conditions are, the breath that we live, the breath that we breathe, the life that we live is God's life moving in us and through us and as us. And therefore, we have access to that which is far greater than anything that this present moment can possibly bring to us. We are open and available to the thoughts, the feelings, the ideas, and all the good that we can possibly imagine. It is there for us. It is already available to us. And it is only that we have eyes to see, ears to hear, feelings to feel, and the consciousness to be aware of that allows it to come into our lives, enriching us, enlivening us, and allowing us to be all that we could possibly be. So as we come together this morning in this venue, wherever we may happen to be, we know that we are on holy ground, we are in holy space, and that the spirit of life is alive and well and manifesting itself in us and through us and as us. And so therefore we can rejoice right where we are. We can rejoice in all the goodness that we are already. And so, as we begin this service, we do so coming from this place of knowing that this is the truth of each and every one of us. And so, as we look at each other across the miles and across the cities and across the country, we are knowing that this is the truth of each and every person. And we accept it for ourselves and each and every one. And so, we are blessed in this moment. And for this, we are truly grateful. And so, we give thanks as we release this word now, knowing it is done. And so it is. Amen. Okay, good morning. And Marcia, are you ready with our vision and our mission statement?
Good morning. Our vision and mission statements is as follows. CSL West Georgia is a joyful global community where everyone belongs. Through our unique spiritual teachings, we provide a safe environment to experience compassionate living. And our declaration of principles: I believe in the unity of all life, and that the highest God and the innermost God is one God. There is one life, which I am a part, one intelligence, which I use, one substance, which takes form as my life. And so it is.
Okay, thank you so much. All right. And so Zizi is doing our music today. So let's welcome her. Hey.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It's nice to see all of you. And I am not going to touch anything on my computer. Sandra, I need you to sort of sit back a little because when you lean forward, it's cutting off half of your face. Thank you. Thought I'd give you that little bit.
I can't.
And you look quite beautiful today. So here we go.
All right.
Someday at Christmas, men won't be boys, playing with bombs like kids play with toys. One warm December, our hearts will see a world where men are free. Someday at Christmas, there'll be no wars when we have learned what Christmas is for. When we have found what life's really worth, there'll be peace on earth. Someday all our dreams will come to be. Someday in a world where we are free. Maybe not in time for you and me, but someday Christmas time. Someday at Christmas we'll see a man, no hungry children, no empty hand. One happy morning people will share a world where people care. Someday at Christmas there'll be no tears. All men are equal and no one has fears. One shining moment our heart ran away from our world today. Someday all our dreams will come to be. Someday in a world where we are free. Maybe not in time for you and me, but someday Christmas time. Someday at Christmas we will not fail. Hate will be gone and love will prevail. Someday a new world that we can start with hope in all our hearts. Maybe not in time for you and me, but someday Christmas time. Someday at Christmas time.
Thank you. Yes, yes, absolutely. I'm looking forward to that. And Sandy is doing our reading this morning.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Kwanzaa, by the way, to those of you who are familiar, thanks to Ajika, made me familiar. The reading this morning is from a book called The Way of Passion by Andrew Harvey. One day, Rumi asked one of his young, snotty disciples, to give him an enormous amount of rich and delicious food. This young disciple was rather alarmed because he thought Rumi was living an ascetic lifestyle. Rumi used to pray all night and eat hardly anything. The disciple thought, aha, now I've really got the master. What he really wants is to go off somewhere secretly and eat all this food. So he decided to follow Rumi. He followed him through the streets of Kanya, out into the fields, out into yet another further fields. Then he saw Rumi go into a ruined tomb. I'm finally going to unmask his pretensions, the young disciple thought. But what he found was a totally exhausted dog, with 6 puppies. And Rumi was feeding the dog with his own hands so that she could survive to feed her children. Rumi knew that the disciple was following him, of course, and turned to him, smiling, and said, see? The disciple, extremely moved, said, but how on earth did you know that she was here? How did you know that she was hungry? This is miles away from where you are. Rumi laughed and laughed. When you have become awake, your ears are so acute that they can hear the cries of a sparrow 10,000 miles away.
Wow, that's quite a story. I love that. Thank you, Sandy. Thank you, Zizi. Oh boy. Okay, so today's topic is making magic. And it is the last in our series on celebrating divine truth, which we've been doing this month. You know, we all like magic, don't we? You know, people go to magic shows all the time. We like magic in our lives. You know, we say things like, you know, oh, that was so magical, you know, and we just enjoy things that happen unexplicably, and that's what we call magical, right? All right, and why do we like magic so much? Because magic removes all the suffering and the pain and all that, the tediousness and the mundane and the ordinary that we have in our lives, doesn't it? It transports us from our everyday to something that's free and easy and carefree, and we don't have to worry about it. It just happens, and we don't have to work so hard for it, right? We use magic to explain the unexplainable sometimes as well. It's sort of like it happened like magic. It was like all of a sudden, you know, and we don't realize that magic is happening all the time. If you like magic, then you can engage in magical thinking. So here's some ideas. Magical thinking that really works. Okay, so you all believe in luck? How many times have we said, oh, I was so lucky when that happened? That's magical thinking, right? Because lucky is when you get something and you don't feel like you worked for it, but you got it. And winning the lottery is what? Lucky. Okay. Never mind that you spent hundreds of thousands of dollars trying to get that ticket that won. All right. And so the people who get it are lucky. All right. So we believe in rabbit's foots and 4-leaf clovers and lucky charms of various things. So those are one way of having magical thinking. Another is believing in fate. Okay, so it was not meant to be, or it was meant to be, or life threw you a curveball. All of that is part of the magical thinking, isn't it? Okay, so that's another one. Placebos. Did you realize that placebos sometimes get better results? People taking placebos, that is, get better results than the people who are on the clinical trials in various studies and whatever. Because why? It's the magical thinking. People are thinking, I got the real thing, so therefore it must be, that's why this is working. Okay, so that's magical thinking. Other magical thinking is rituals. Now, rituals can be good. We did a ritual last week. But here's the thing. If you put the ritual as being the reason why something happened, that's when it becomes magical thinking. Rituals like celebrating birthdays and grief, death days, and things like that are good things to celebrate, as they help us to remember the person or ourselves. Um, I know people who now are celebrating their birthdays for the whole month, right? Uh, I don't know why they do that, but some people do. Okay. But that's a ritual, you see? And it's magical thinking. It's sort of like, well, if I just celebrate it on one day, maybe something magical won't happen. But if I celebrate it the whole month, then people won't forget me. That could be why it is, because how many times we get belated birthday cards or belated whatever kind of cards, right? All right. And then another magical thinking, but I think this one is really kind of good though, and is to love people. It's magical. Why? Because people are sometimes hard to love. They are hard to love. And so we want to look for the good, right? And sometimes it seems magical when we have to go looking for the good and we actually find it, interestingly enough. Because you know what? There's good in everything. And that's magical too. All of this magical goes back to what? Your beliefs, right? So today I want to talk about something that is really magic, right? First of all, I want you to know that things that seem like they just happened all of a sudden didn't necessarily happen all of a sudden. Galileo, Galileo, well, this last week we looked for, I don't know how many of you saw the Jupiter and Saturn. I went out and looked. I think I saw it as a little dot. It was brighter than anything else in the sky. And but you know what? He's discovered that in 1610, this Jupiter and Saturn, those two planets were discovered, and the rings around uh, not rings, the satellites around Jupiter he found in 1610. But he had to create the telescope. Other people helped, but he actually created guess when they started? In 1568 or something like 1586. They started with learning. So it was like from 1586 to 1610, all those years it took to develop the telescope in order for him to be able to see Jupiter and Saturn in 1610. Henry David Thoreau took 2 years living on Walden's Pond before he came out with and confirmed that thoughts truly are things, and they do create for you if you hold those things in mind. Do you know that it took them 50 years to develop the polio vaccine? And we now have the coronavirus vaccine they've developed, right? And everybody's like, well, they developed that so fast. How could it be any good? Because they developed it so fast. Well, I want to tell you, I looked it up. It has been 55 years since 1965 that they have been studying the coronavirus and trying to find vaccines for it. The common cold is one of those vaccines that, they don't have vaccine for it. But, the common cold is what they were studying, and they found the coronavirus. Okay. So these things that seem magical, no. They have a lot of stuff that went on behind them. Okay. Lots of things have happened before that. Even Ernest Holmes, he wrote his first book, I think was 1921, as a creative mind. And his The Science of Mind came out in 1927. He had been studying for years. At the turn of the century, he was studying the transcendentalists, Emerson and Thoreau. He was studying Thomas Troward, who was in England. He was studying all these various people. He had studied with Emma Curtis Hopkins. By the way, he got the term Science of Mind from Emma Curtis Hopkins. He had studied with Mary Baker Eddy and different people. He had studied a lot of the New Thought authors around that time. And then he wrote The Science of Mind. Do you see? That's not magical. But it looks like magic because it was like all of a sudden, here's a book, right? So much stuff goes in behind our magical thinking, but there is magic. Yeats said, W.B. Yeats, the poet, said, "The world is full of magic things, patiently waiting for our senses to grow sharper." That's in your journal, by the way. Waiting for our senses to grow sharper. So, mystics, gurus, holy people, monks, they've been telling us for centuries from all cultures, they've been telling us that, let's see, I forgot to turn off my phone. Sorry about that. That life, from all cultures, they've been telling us that life is beyond the senses. So here, what I want to say to you is that we are,
I can't hear you.
my daughter is calling me to tell me happy birthday. So I'm going to do that right now. Okay. All right. So
I can't hear you.
I know because I know because I have it on mute and we're doing our Sunday service and you're calling them. So I am telling everybody.
Joy called and she's not even on. And I
All
only
right,
answered
so
this
we are,
twice.
so, all right, so I'm going to hang up now and you guys
Yes,
call me back
yes.
later, okay?
Don't put me on camera.
No,
All right,
I'm not. Bye.
bye.
Well, that was interesting.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Now I've lost
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
That was
Happy
Happy
birthday, dear
Reverend
Sandra.
Sandra. Happy birthday to you.
To you.
And many more.
So now Joy's on. So Joy called on, and I forgot to turn off. I usually put it on the the plane thing, and I forgot to do that this morning. So I laid it here, and Joy calls, and I turned it off, and then Stacy called, and come to find out they were on the call together on FaceTime, and I put it on mute so that she would know that I was busy talking, but I was muting myself so she didn't know I was talking. So anyway, that was fun.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. This is the most interesting birthday I've had ever. So that's great. All right. Thank you.
That was fun.
And there's Joy right there. That's my granddaughter. All right. So this is magic, see? Magic is what happens when you're not expecting it. Okay, so that was great. Okay, so let's go back to Can I get back on track here? All right. So let's talk about if you want to build a house, right? Thanks, Ajika. If you want to build a house, where does the idea come from? It doesn't come from you. You captured that idea from the universe. Because here's the thing. Did you know, I don't know, years ago, well, this has happened on more than one occasion, but years ago, what's her name? Elizabeth Kubler-Ross had done years of studying the deaf and dying, and she wrote a book. She wrote a book and it was published, and just a few weeks later, an author in Australia had also published similar studies, and they had not communicated. Here's the thing. All the ideas are already available at the universal level. We capture them. Okay, it's sort of like there's just think of stars in the sky. Think of a really, 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 really starry night. You have to be somewhere out of the city and you see thousands and thousands and thousands of stars. And you are able to just reach up and capture a star, right? Guess what? The first person, there's thousands of stars, but two of you could be going for the same stars and not knowing it, right? One of you is going to get there first. And so the first one that gets there is the one that gets that star. Think of those stars as ideas, okay? But guess what? Even if you're the first one to get that star, there's thousands of others. So your houses, if each star was a house idea, then guess what? Your house idea is just one house idea. Somebody's going to pull another house idea. It's going to be different, but it's still a house idea and it came from the same source. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's like one source and we're pulling all these ideas from it. So we're coming from the invisible and we're making it visible. And that's what Yeats is saying. He's saying these ideas are already there. It's already there. It's not something that you have to make up or create. Ernest Holmes says, we don't create anything. What we do is we discover what is already there. That's what we do. That's why whatever you're creating isn't being created by anybody else. The man in Australia had similar ideas, but it wasn't exactly the same. And now, people have taken Elizabeth Kubler-Ross's ideas, and what have they done? They've changed them around and made them their own in different ways. But she came up with the most original one, as far as I know. But think about it. The Wright brothers discovered the laws of flight that allowed us to fly planes. But Da Vinci had already had the ideas for flight, right? And drew them out and everything. But people weren't ready for flight yet. And by the time that the Wright brothers came along, they were not the only ones working on this. They just got there first. Okay, the whole all of the industrial age, all of it was already there in mind, available, and all we had to do was have eyes to see, ears to hear, understanding, an idea, which is what Yeats is saying, until we become aware of it. Now think about your own personal life. What is it in your life that you need to become aware of? This last year, 2020, has been something else, hasn't it? And most of us have experienced it as a circumstance outside of our control. It's like, you know what? I have to wear a mask, or I don't want to wear a mask, or, there's a virus, I have to stay in. They're telling me I stay in, I have to be doing this, I have to do. It seems like all of our circumstances are all outside of us. But we don't have to live that way. We don't have to continue to live that way. We can begin to see beyond our circumstances and create something new. We can discover from the invisible realm something that we want for ourselves in the visible realm. Okay, we can make 2021 a year of our own magical thinking by being willing to see that for ourselves that is not seen by somebody else. So my question to you is, what is it that you want to create for yourself in 2021? What do you want to create for yourself in 2021? Because you can do one of two things. You can continue to create 2020 in 2021, which most people are going to do, by the way. Most people are going to they're going to continue to complain about the virus, or they're going to continue to say, I want to get the vaccine, or I'm not. They're going to continue to act in accordance with whatever is going on out there. but you have a choice because you're here today. And because you know that magical thinking is taking the invisible and making it visible for you personally. It's your choice. It's your choice. You can discover a new life for yourself. Think about it this way. Bears hibernate in the winter, right? They use the summer and the spring, or the summer mostly, and the fall to gather, eat and eat and eat and eat, get fat, 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 fat. So they're what? So their body can sleep during the winter, and their body can work off the fat, right? And during that time when they're sleeping, it's called hibernating. We have been asked to hibernate in our homes, away from other people. Even if we go out, we're being asked to hibernate because we're being asked stay away from other people, right? I mean, do you get this? Yes, I can. Yes. Okay. All right. So we're being asked to hibernate. My question to you is, what are you doing while you hibernate? The bear is sleeping, but you don't have to be. You can be creating something new so that when you are allowed to, or you choose to, or however the experience comes about, when the spring comes, you can be creating something new. You can be creating a new life. You could be having something that you have not created before. You could use this time to test out the principles of the science of mind. You could use this time to find out, does this stuff really work? Can I really, really, really create something that I desire to have in my life? This is a time when you can do some magical thinking of your own. But you notice magical thinking has work that goes into it. Rumi was awake. She read in the story, Rumi was awake. And the reason he was able to hear the dog miles and miles and miles away is because he was awake. He was attuned to nature and to life in such a way that he heard the plea of this dog. How long do you think Rumi had to meditate in order to get to that place where he could do that? How long did he had to go within and know the truth of who he was and attune himself with all of life in order to be able to do that? And Rumi was a poet, so I have no doubt that that story is true. It's a story, but I'm willing to bet it's true. I have no doubt that it is. I've read stories of people doing some things that are absolutely amazing, but they don't do it by waking up one morning and doing it. They have done years and years of meditation or study, and study sometimes. Think of Buddha. Okay, he wandered for years and years and years. Even Jesus, they said, was 3 years in the desert. Okay, so here's the thing. We have to put in the work. You have to decide what it is you want, and then you have to do the work in order to get it. It doesn't happen miraculously unless you are prepared for the miracle. Now, I'm not saying that there are not times when miracle things happen. People have flashes of light and consciousness, and it just like that. I'm not saying that doesn't happen. But honey, it doesn't happen often. Most of us have to work for it, okay? Most of us have to work for it. So I'm inviting you to do that work this year. I'm inviting you to go on a journey. So this week, we're going to have 2 times to do visioning, that you can participate in doing visioning. You know, like last year, we did the burning bowl. We can't do that this year. Well, we could, but it's too complicated, I decided. And so I decided we do visioning was much easier to do, and it's much more less complicated. And so we'll do visioning, I think is on the 29th, and then again next Sunday after church. Takes about an hour and a half. And then during the month of January, we're going to have what we're calling a faith uplift. Okay. And so for the whole month of January, you can work on your faith, because what was the first candle last week in the candle lighting service? Faith. You have to have the faith that you can do this. So we're going to have an activity that goes on all month long, where you can work on your faith and grow. Because last year we did the burning bowl and people got letters. How many of you got letters in November? Okay. Now tell me, how many of you, all the things on there that you wrote down were done? Chris, one, two out of, and what we need. And I've been asking Chris to tell me what he did. Okay. And he hasn't been, because I have a feeling that there's a place in him where he does not know. Because remember what I said, sometimes stuff just happens. Why? Because we've been doing work that we did not realize we were doing. Okay. We were doing work that we did not realize we were doing. And then something happens, like the burning bowl last year. We put it all together, and all of a sudden, everything happens, and it seems like magic. You see? But we can do it consciously. And I want to invite you to do it consciously and work with me for the month. Work with me and with each other. Okay? So, life is like this. You can have it be the magical thinking of your past beliefs and live in the confines of the circumstances that others create for you. Or you can have the courage, the fortitude, the tenacity, and the self-love to step out and be your own person and live your own life and do your own thing. But you need support to do that. And you need courage to do that. And you need a vision. You need to know where you're going. The Wright brothers knew what they wanted to do. Galileo was about finding out everything. He's considered the father of modern science. Okay, David Thoreau, he said, you know what? I think thoughts are things, but I am going to prove it. Ernest Holmes, he decided, you know what? There is something to all of this stuff I'm studying, and I'm going to figure it out and put it in a book so other people can read it. We don't have to be famous. We can just be our own, have our own lives. What would happen if you got to the end of your life and you said, I have done everything I've wanted to do. I am fully and completely satisfied. I think last week it was that we read the story about the blacksmith who had been serving and serving and serving and serving. And when the angel came to take him to heaven, he was in heaven already. Why? Because he had been serving all of that time. And his life was about service. His life was about service. Your life may be about something else. So I don't know what you have that you want for this next coming year. I don't know if you want better health, or you want a new job, or you want to retire, or you want better relationships. I don't know what you want. But that's what visioning is about, for you to decide what it is you want and to take the steps to go for it. Okay. This life is a wonderful life if we choose to live it and not just allow it to the circumstances to be what we experience. So let's take these thoughts and turn within. So right here and right now, we open ourselves to the perfection of life. We're knowing that God is perfect. Perfect life, perfect man, perfect being. Perfect, meaning that anything and everything that we individually can desire is already available to us if we will have ears to hear, a heart that's open and available and ready to receive. And so right here, right now, I am knowing that the truth of each one of us is pure, unadulterated spirit, that each one of us has complete, absolute access to the indwelling presence of God within them, that each one of us has the ability to touch and reach that place within ourselves where we know who we are, where we can experience who we are, and where we can live who we are, because the divine ideas flowing in us and through us and as us, expressing in our lives, is allowing us to live the life that is ours to live in deep gratitude and love and peace and wisdom and creativity. I am knowing now that our source is spirit, not anything in the world. And yet we use this world for our own gratification. We are filled with the divine grace that comes with our very being. We are divine beings. We are life itself. There is no limitation on who we are or who we can be, as long as we choose, as long as we are willing, as long as we participate in aligning ourselves with that which we truly are. And so with deep gratitude and thanksgiving for knowing the truth of each and every one of us, for allowing that truth to be expressed in each one of our lives, for being open and receptive to the truth of who we are, I am right here, right now, releasing this word, knowing it is done, that each one of us is accepting it in our own way and living it in our own life in a most magnificent and glorious way. And so I rejoice that this is so, as I release it now and let it be, and know that it is done. And so it is. Amen. Okay, so let's all right. What's next? A song. A song. A song. Zizi.
Thank you. My unmuting was not working and it almost froze. So, normally I don't talk before a song, but I'm going to today. I am so ever grateful. The end of 2020 is this week, and at the end of service we'll say, see you next year, and it will be true. Marty, tomorrow will be 3 weeks since I've had my hip surgery, and Marty has been here, she's here with me now, taking care of me while Ruthie works. And I am living in gratitude, absolute gratitude. Happy birthday, Sandra. And gratitude that Sandra actually was the one that pushed me to get my hip surgery. And I'm very grateful to you, so thank you so much. This song I've been singing since 1976 at graduations, where I ended up being a teacher in San Francisco to teach math and science. And it was always sung at the kids' graduation. It is a song that is perfect for the end of the year in terms of our next year and what we want to manifest our next year and for the rest of our lives. There's no music, it's a cappella, and the reason for that, there's several reasons, but the one I'm going to go with, is that it will allow us to focus more on what's being said. May God bless and keep you always. May your wishes all come true. May you always do for others and let others do for you. May you build a ladder to the stars and climb on every rung, and may you stay forever young, forever young, forever young. May you stay forever young. May you grow up to be righteous. May you grow up to be true. May you always know the truth and see the light surrounding you. May you always be courageous, stand upright and be strong, and may you stay, open that gate, forever young, forever young, forever young. May you stay forever young. May your hands always be busy. May your feet always be swift. May you have a strong foundation when the winds of change shift. May your heart always be joyful. May your song always be sung. May you stay forever young, forever young, forever young. May you stay forever young.
Yes, 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 yes. Be young in thought. Yes. Thank you, Zizi. Thanks for the introduction, too. Appreciate that. Okay, I have lost my notes about what comes next. I think it's Marcia.
Yes, 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 yes. Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. Um, so hopefully this is going to work. Yes, it is time to talk about our conscious giving. So, um, as I always like to share, there are three ways that you can consciously give to CSL West Georgia. The first way is if you'd like to use PayPal, go ahead. When I put the link information in the chat window, there's a link that you can just click from right there and go ahead and pay via PayPal. You can also, that link is always in our weekly newsletter as well. If you feel more comfortable mailing a check, that address is there in the window. It'll be in the chat window, and it's also showing up in our newsletter. And as I always like to share, and more people are connecting, if you are an Amazon shopper, Amazon has a charitable giving program. It's called Amazon Smile. We have a connection with them. In order for them to donate to us, you need to connect with us. So there's going to be a Smile link, and it's the easiest way to connect. It's hard to find us on Amazon. If you search for CSL West Georgia, you're going to have to put Douglasville in the window, and maybe we pop up. It's very weird. Much easier just to connect via the link in the chat window or in the newsletter. And then you just make that first connection. And then from that point on, you go to smile.amazon.com. It doesn't change anything else on your end, but Amazon then donates back to our center. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and move on to our affirmation. I am grateful for the divine givingness circulating abundantly through my life, my community, and my world. So it is.
Okay, thank you, Marcia. Okay, and our announcements for today. Some of you had ordered the journals. They have been ordered and they have not come in yet. And we had to order 20, because that's the smallest amount that we give. And so if you forgot to order your journal, okay, you can still order it. Just you know, do what Marcia says there. Go to it's on the newsletter. Actually, the link to the jot form is on the newsletter. Just go to the newsletter, which you received today in your email. Go to that and choose the jot form and just fill it out, and we will. It comes to us in our email. If you are this is the last of the year. So if you are making donations and you want, all of our, let me put it this way, our church your donations to our church are tax deductible. And those of you who donated this year will be getting a letter in January telling how much you donated so that you can use it on your taxes. If you have some money you would like to donate, before the end of the year, we would be lovely and happy to receive it. Just do what Marcia said in the donation, section and the conscious giving portion. And let's see, who is this on the iPhone? Who's that? Oh, that's a mask. I was like, who's this with the mask? That's Connie, right? Outside with a mask on. Okay. All right. I was like, oh my goodness, is somebody hurt or something? All right, it's a mask. Okay. All right, so let me explain. Marcia, now you can put that up, the 28-day thing. Okay, so starting on Tuesdays, January 5th through Tuesday, February 2nd, each Tuesday, we are going to have what we are calling a 28-day faith lift experience. And it's to jumpstart your new year. So what we want to do is work together to start empowering ourselves so that we can have the vision that we have to manifest during our life, to have our goals and our visions to manifest. So what we're going to do is I will meet with you on those Tuesdays. You can either join at 10:30 a.m. or 7:30 p.m. on Tuesdays. I will meet with you and we will meet for a half an hour to 45 minutes. And then you will be in groups of 3 and you will connect with one another during the week, supporting one another. And how often you do that is up to the 3 people, but I want you to meet at least once. And you can do it by phone. You don't have to do Zoom. You can just do it by phone. If you're close enough and you live together, then you could do it in person. Okay. So you can choose to have somebody in your household to participate in this as well. I don't care who, the more the merrier. Okay. And so, but we'll be doing the Zoom session, the sessions together on Zoom, of course. And then the other option that you have is, and these are in the newsletter too. So the information about all of these are in the newsletter. So then you have your vision workshops are going to be on December 29th from 7 to 8:30. That's this Tuesday. And then next Sunday after church, we have a different Zoom number. Okay. So we'll get off of the church call and get onto the vision workshop call. And that will be from 12:30 till 2 p.m. And we'll do some visioning and it'll be the substitute for the burning bowl. So these workshops prepare us for the January workshops. Okay. And you can feel free to invite friends and people that it's not restricted just to our church. The more the merrier. If you have some friends that you would like to work on your New Year, visioning activities, then invite them and you can make them perhaps your 3 people. Okay. All right. I think that's it. All right. Hi, Brenda. Good to see you. All right. And let's see. I just want to say once again how wonderful last Sunday was. You guys that participated, it was so, so fabulous, wasn't it? I mean, we all just outdid ourselves. The music and the talk, the candle lighting and all the things that we did last week it just was so, so right on. And we just really stepped up as a community. If by any chance you missed it, it is on YouTube, right, Marcia? Yes, it's on YouTube and you can go there and check it out. Okay. I am looking forward to seeing you all next year. Yay! Oh, by the way, if we count our attendance, okay? So if there's 2 of you, like Zizi has Marty there with her today. Marty sometimes is on, but she's helping Zizi today. So she would be counting us too. Let us know that there's 2 people, on your call and not just 1. So we can, that helps us with our attendance, with understanding our attendance. Okay. You can just put it in the chat. There's 2 people here, like Gloria, if Phil is there, she usually tells me when Phil's on, but if Phil is there, she could just put in the chat, there's Phil and I are here together, and that way we can count them. So it just dawned on me that we never let you know that that's something that we keep up with, and it is important, okay, to us. All right, anything else? Did I forget anything?
Yes, actually, you did.
I did.
Would
Okay.
everyone please unmute? Everyone unmute. Good job. Someone's fan is on. Wow. Okay, here we go. Happy birthday
Day
to
to
you. Happy
you. Happy birthday
birthday
to
to
you.
you. Happy
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 birthday, dear
birthday,
birthday,
Sandra.
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 Happy
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 birthday
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 to
to
to you.
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 Yay!
Thank
Love you.
you
Love you. Have a glorious
so
day.
much. I love
Yes.
you all too, and I thank you so much. That was so wonderful. And that's my first time I ever got a Zoom birthday song. So thank you so much. I appreciate that. Yeah.
You're the absolute cutest.
Yeah. Thanks. Yes. Well, you have to, on your birthday, you have to do something a little special.
I love it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I love you all. And I think that is it. We have a song to conclude our Christmas celebration. I love this song, so I decided let's play it.
Joyful, joyful, we adore thee, God of glory, Lord of love, hearts unfold.
joy. Be joyful. Enjoy. Be sure and check your email for today's newsletter, because your information about the Faith Uplift and the visioning is in there. Okay, you have to sign up for both of them. Okay. All right, I love you all and have a great week and be safe. Don't be doing anything stupid over the 31st. All right.
Bye bye. Happy New Year.
Yes.
Happy birthday.
We go forth today knowing that we are God's blessing in the world. Only good goes from us. Only good comes to us. So it is.
And so it is.
A Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Yes, Happy New Year.
All right.
Happy New Year.